Well, hello, my fellow car modelers. How you doing today? I've been pretty sick for the past week or so, so I haven't been able to get the video all finished for the second part of getting the model room all set up, and I really haven't had a lot of time to come in here with working, and on my time off, pretty much resting. I lost my voice a bit. I've tried 3 times to get a video put together, and I'd go to edit it, and I just wasn't myself, and it wasn't good enough. So today I just wanted to get this one out real fast. I came up with this idea just to put something out. We'll get the next part for the finishing of the model room. We've got a few other things we've got in the works for you, but I thought I would just show you some quick shots of some of my projects I'm working on and try and decide which one to get back on. Some of them are really old. I bet a lot of you have those where you got boxes back here, you open up that kit and you find there's a project that you've been working on where you get kind of, I'm kind of not feeling it anymore and I want to do something else, and you end up putting it away, and then all of a sudden you got, like, over the years, a million projects that haven't been finished. And I kind of want to, this year, set out to complete some of them. So here, I want to show them to you. Check these out. So the first model I want to show you, I'm sorry for the pictures. I had kind of a not such a good phone back then with such a good camera, but it's a little washed out, but you get a good gist of what I was going for with this model. I just kind of got in the mock-up stage. I had the chassis pretty well figured out, but this is the Revell 68 Charger, and my idea was to take the Revell Viper STR10 ACR kit and take the chassis and the engine, which was the Viper V10, and get it under a 68 Charger. So this was the whole look I'm going for. I got the chassis pretty well sorted out and the car standing at the right spot I wanted. You see, I used the wheels and tires from the Viper kit, and I just basically had to stretch the chassis out a bit. It needs a lot of work, so that's why I kind of put it aside. I wasn't really pleased with how it was turning out, but I'm going to get back on it because I really was like the direction this car was going. I had a neat idea. I was just going to do it all black and have the V10 in there. I had to move the motor mounts forward in the front clips to fit the body of the Charger. But other than that, a lot of the rest of the chassis worked out really well. The next model that I had not finished was this Fast Eddie Sharpman Pro Stock Mercury Comet. It was an old Johan kit that I just had always liked the car and started putting it together. I got the decals from Slicks. I painted it through my airbrush with House of Color paints, and I got it all cleared and it was going real well. And I found that up on the top, the decal, some of the checkerboards flaked off in the middle of spraying the clear on there, and so I had to figure out a way of fixing it. So it ended up just going into the box, and one day I'll revisit it. I might just build it and not worry about that decal gone. It's kind of a shame. The model was really turning out neat. Going pretty good with the detail on the engine. I was liking how that went. I hope to revisit it one day. I think this model deserves to be built. Another pro touring idea I had was with this 55 Chevy step side, going with the Corvette wheels and tires, a lot of Corvette chassis under there, and I wanted to play around with doing like cantilever rear suspension. If you're familiar with cantilever, it's a neat coilover type setup where you got the shock coilovers sitting more up on top above the chassis, kind of at an angle with a cantilever and a rod. It gets them out of the way so you have a lot more room to lower the vehicles. And that was the direction I was going to go with this. And this was kind of in of course, the mock-up stage. I had the frame all fabricated and chassis figured out at this point. And that was about where the stance was going to be for this model truck. This is a real long time ago when I was working on this one. I always loved the Monza as drag cars. In the pro stock days, and then later on you saw, especially in the 80s and 90s, a ton of them running in super gas. I was building a super gas car, and I had stretched the rear fender out to accept the large tires, and I had the whole tub chassis going. And of course, back behind there was a Duster I was doing the same kind of thing with. This next one is a 68 Camaro that I wanted to do like an old modified production car from the 70s. You wanted to have all the ladder bars and crude setups they had back in the 70s, and these cars were just maniac on the track. I just think they had a great stance to them. The next I got my Revell 69 Camaro that I wanted to do this super street type car. Years ago back in the 90s there was a whole bunch of cars sponsored by Pyro, and they were always black, and there were Chevelles and Camaros, and they were really cool cars. This is kind of my take on one. There was a 69 Camaro that was sponsored by Pyro. This is not that car. I wasn't depicting that car, but this was my inspiration for this car. The car is almost complete. I hope to get this one put together real soon. It was really turning out neat. The finish is one of my best finishes. I just really love the looks of it. It's kind of an idea I always had, and I like to get it all done. This next car it's almost completely done. It is a 80s Monte Carlo that would have raced at, short tracks and like late model divisions and sportsman cars. I wanted to do kind of more of a sportsman Saturday night racer. It's really just a monogram NASCAR chassis, and the body is actually the street version of the mid-80s Monte Carlo SS. Painted it with Tamiya blue and shot PPG automotive clear over it. And it just has that neat sportsman car. It just has that sportsman look about it. That's why I wanted to go with the stock body panels with just the wheel wells cut out, no fender flares. Now this is the car that I am going to start back on pretty heavy. I want to get this one finished next. What I'm doing is a 1988 Porsche Turbo 911 930. But what I wanted to do was something all kind of raced out, and but still street legal. And what I ended up doing is kit bashing two Tamiya kits. I started with the 911 Turbo. I basically just used the body for this, and this Porsche 911 GT2. This was a street legal race car, and this kit has a beautiful cage interior. The suspension, the tires, everything is just so excellent in this kit. I bought a couple of just because the parts are just so great. I did little tricks like putting a gas filler in the middle of the hood. I did some reworking of the exhaust, putting little aluminum tips on the back of it, doing some aluminum work under the front nose. I changed up the rear view mirrors, and I actually used 97 Corvette rear view mirrors on the sides. And this is pretty much the stance I'm going for. It still needs a little bit more primer and sanding, and then I'm ready to paint it. And this would be my Porsche 911. So that's what I got for you this week. So hit that like button and subscribe and check out my other videos. And we got plenty more content coming for you. And you got any ideas of what you'd like me to cover on our great hobby, please let me know. Put it in the comments below. So this is me, Lucas C, and we'll see you next week. There's some more model car content.